and how fortunate we are to be a big part of making this happen, really.
It's very touching to meet people that have never had a wheelchair in their life and that they can actually now be mobile.
So he's the fourth child of that lady. She has 6 altogether and 4 of them are disabled. And she is on her own here, having to look after them all. And that's 70 miles from where we live, which is fairly amazing. And you think we're in such a closed world.
Also last year we gave her a donation which they managed to buy a minibus with, which is what they needed to do their daycare centre to collect people to bring every day.
Las sillas de ruedas que han traído la ayuda ahora, pues están ahora en un almacén donde ha estado también Michel, ¿no? Lo ha visto. Y nosotros nos vamos a encargar y nos vamos a responsabilizar de que llegue a las personas que lo necesitan.
Supplying aid was one thing, but if the Dash was to truly fulfil its intention to share cultures, it would need an altogether different approach. Q Carsten Wimmer, competitor and professional windsurf instructor, a one-man army with the aim of bringing recreational sailing to Tafaya.
On the beach, when there was a local football game, I mean, we had a great time there, no? Playing against the local team, but ending up with about like 500 people on the beach. If they all come today to the beach, I might have a little problem teaching them because there's simply too many, because we only bought like a limited amount of boards. But I think it will be good fun.
He's a great windsurfing instructor. He runs a super school windsurfing paradise here in Lanzarote, and he actually came on as a sponsor, and he actually approached me to become a sponsor with the idea of taking the equipment over to be able to teach the kids over there windsurfing.
So what we want to do today is just give them a little show on the beach, try to teach them a little bit, and so then afterwards they can prepare themselves for next year, maybe here.
We started them off in the sea with the waves, and then when it got too rough in the waves, there was really no way they were going to learn in the sea with the waves. We then took them over to the port, where it was nice and calm, and literally within a few hours, had them sailing up and down, and they're absolutely loving it.
The main problem, I think, is the language. Definitely understanding the basic things, for turning. So we make it by showing, but there's still some. Somehow they understand the things different than I have the feeling.
The fact that we've taken that windsurfing equipment there, I don't think is the end of that mission. I think we need to send someone back to really instruct them properly, and maybe even spend a week there teaching them how to teach windsurfing. We showed them how to rig them, we showed them the very basics of windsurfing, but really, it's not an easy sport. It's a dangerous sport as well in the wrong hands. So we're probably going to have to do more, I think, there to get them windsurfing than just giving them equipment, I think.
Je crois que vous allez être les premiers à lancer ce sport dans cette région. Et ça sera une bonne chose pour les jeunes, parce que c'est un sport qui est en vogue dans le monde entier, et cette région a toutes les conditions pour que ce sport s'épanouisse dans l'avenir. Donc vous serez les pionniers pour Tafaya et pour toute la région. Donc on va essayer de suivre les premiers jalons de cette création d'un club de planche à voile.
The support from the government, from the Walaya over in Leon, and all the authorities has been superb. And they are talking with us about doing a World Cup next year.
It's great to have someone who is so sincere in what he believes, is working and has such a future. And he said himself that, he wants to see the World Cup happening, and he's going to do all which is possible to make it happen. And to have a World Cup windsurfing event, I think would be far nicer. And they've got the perfect conditions.
With talk now moving on to the future, the possibilities could be endless.
It was 6 years ago that we did the first transatlantic, and it was an amazing experience. People still talk about it. It still gets shows on TV, and that's something that happened 6 years ago. And it's always been at the back of my mind that possibly it's something that one day could be done again, although I have heavily told myself, forget it, leave it. But the trouble is, at the moment, conversations I've been having with Tilla have been making me think that maybe we can do it again. And with what we're doing with the Dash and the way we're managing to safely cover people over these distances, and what we want to do next year, going another 100 kilometres down to Leon as well, you could suddenly see these stepping stones. at some stage you've got to make a big hop across, but the steps are there. I think Tiller wants to do it next weekend. It's not going to happen in the next year, I don't think in the next 2 years, but I think it could happen again. And it's certainly worth thinking over in the mind at the moment.